Yes everyone, what's going on? My name's Stephen Howson. This is Full Time Devils. Happy New Year to all of you lot that are out there watching us. Happy birthday to the greatest of all time in Sir Alex Ferguson as well. And do you know what? It feels like he got himself a little Christmas present with the appointment that he's made of Ole Gunnar Solskjaer as the current Manchester United manager. And I hope that it stays like this, in all honesty. I don't know what more he needs to do, apart from the very obvious. He needs to show us what his plan B is going to look like. I think we've got a very interesting plan A. I think what we're showing so far with plan A is the way he wants to play football. What I want to see is how we cope. Do we go a little more conservative? Do we maybe play a bit more reactive? I want to see what we do against a top six team, one of the best teams in Europe, coming up with Paris as well. The very interesting thing is that we'll get a blueprint from the Spurs game about how we can play against both Liverpool and Paris Saint-Germain. If we come through all of those games undefeated, then I don't actually think that there's anything else Ole Gunnar Solskjaer needs to do to be given this job on a permanent basis. The game yesterday was so good, so refreshing, and as I mentioned in my Fancam afterwards, we beat Fulham 4-1. But the manner of these victories, the just pure relentless nature of them. I love that we're pressing in the final third. I love that we're winning back possession there. Marcus Rashford, absolutely integral to that. The way he chases down, the way he puts defences and even goalkeepers under pressure is phenomenal. We win the ball back in those areas, and sometimes it comes back to the halfway line where our defensive line is sat, sometimes inside the opposition half, and then it just starts the attack right away from it again. It's an absolute brilliant breath of fresh air that we're seeing so far from the whole backroom team, because I definitely believe Mike Phelan's got a big part to play in this, and I know Carrick and McKenna have an equally big part to play in this. We do have the manager's press conference coming up, and we do have United on YouTube coming up, but I want you to look out for something in the manager's press conference. You'll see Ole Gunnar Solskjaer deflects all praise. I've noticed this quite a bit now. Like the first game against Cardiff, it was like, you've just gone and managed a team that scored 5 goals, and it was like, whoa. The last time we scored 5 was Mike Phelan's last game here. And every time someone tries to give him a little bit of a praise, he pushes it back onto the players. Let's have a look at the manager's press conference and see if you can spot him doing it straight away this time around.
Ollie, you can't stop scoring.
Well, I don't score, do I? They've created some great chances today and some fantastic attacking football at times. And yeah, it's pleasing. That's what the fans want to see. That's what we want to see. And I think I think the players are enjoying themselves. Yeah.
Is there one thing you said or that they have taken heed of? You think that's causing all these?
No, we're working bit by bit, just a little bit every day, that we keep chipping away on little details of how we want to position ourselves, when we want to go forward, when we want to slow the game down and then quicken things up. I thought second half today, the way we managed second half, I thought that was brilliant. Because coming in at half time with a 3-1 instead of a 3-0 could have been, you could have gone, well, let's slow down or defend. But I thought they really went about the job perfectly.
And you can play without red card, so?
No, I don't think so. And Eric won't complain either. He knows he's mistimed that one. He's a rash tackle. Excited, he's playing again. He thinks he's going to win the ball. The team we want to go forward. No complaints.
In March, you tweeted a picture of your TV with the shirt of Marcus Rashford on.
That was against Liverpool, wasn't it?
And now you're seeing him do this as a manager. What does that make you feel?
No, you're pleased. I'm delighted for him because he's coming on and he'll be a top player. And the way he's gone about this job, playing up top, the work rate he puts in. And he's got I've said it yesterday or a couple of days ago when I spoke to you about his attributes, that he's got everything. And I'm really pleased that he'll get goals. He scored 2 now in 3 games, but his work rate, all the work he puts in, that's a big how do you say it, pleasing thing for me with the whole team, because we should never be outworked by anyone, and he's the catalyst. Got to say, when you got a striker, first he drops in and works on their defensive midfielder, then he closes the centre backs down, then it's a full back, then it's the goalkeeper. So I'll have to slow him down at times. And the way he just made the first goal as well. That hold up play, skills, vision to put it in the right area.
Well, three games in, has it been what you imagined it was going to be? Has it been easier? Has it been harder?
Well, this is, it's quite a few years since I was here, but this is how it was. So I've just got, to be honest, I've just gone about the job as I thought, or as I experienced it when I was here as a player and as a little coach, a young coach. We want to go attacking. We've been at home 2 games now, and the crowds we have to entertain them. It's just, you got good players. I love working with good players. I love working with good people. They are good people. The players, they wanna learn. They wanna improve. I just wanna do my bit for the months I'm here.
How hard is Paul Pogba to play against Ole when he's in that sort of form, and not just his work rate, his passing, but getting onto the end of the ball and finishing like that?
That is a top today. Is one of the that's a top performance for a midfielder, because it's all round. It's work rate. It's dangerous in the box. He wins headers. He wins tackles, and there's no showboating. It's touch, pass, move, and he plays the efficient game. And Paul knows he's at his best when he plays that game. And yeah, there was one flick maybe that he missed halfway through the second half that he knows he could have done better with, but there's not a lot else he could have done.
Remember, this is the full-time review. This is the place where you can have your say on everything that's going on at United, whether that's by getting involved in the comments or sending us a video in. Now let's listen. Did you spot what I was talking about there with Ole straight away? I didn't score. The players scored. The guy is the complete polar opposite in personality to Jose Mourinho, isn't he? I think that's why the players have probably responded to it so well. I like the way he spoke about managing the second half there and the difference between going in at 3-0 or 3-1. I thought that was really cool. Talks about no complaints for what happened with Baye. Something that I noticed that I'm not sure you'd have picked up on TV. I don't know if it's shown it on TV or not. But when he substituted Tony Marshall, I think Mourinho would have stood there with his hands in his pockets and pissed off at the red card. But Ole sacrificed Marshall to bring on Phil Jones after the red card of Baye. And he stood there and he put both arms around Marshall and spoke at him. So I don't think it was a back and forth conversation, but spoke at him for about a minute. So I'm sure he was probably saying something along the lines of, listen, you've had a great game. You're going to be first back in next week. The only reason that you're coming off is because of the red card, and all that sort of stuff. And I think what we're seeing there is proper man management. He did it in the technical area. Didn't let him get to the dugout. Didn't let him get back to his seat before he said it. He said it 1 foot after he came off the pitch. And I think that's big. And I think that he's really getting people on side to play for him. I think his man management is 20 out of 20 for those that know what I'm on about there. He also mentioned Rashford. He said he's pleased for him. His work rate is the catalyst for all of the work that United do. He keeps talking about United won't be outworked, and I love that. And he talks about going about the job as he experienced it as a player. It's the only way he knows how to do it. We have to entertain. He's enjoying working with the good players. Do you know what? You actually couldn't script. If you wrote down and said, here's what I'd like my manager to say, you'd probably struggle to do it, and you certainly won't make it sound as authentic as Ole manages to put it across to everyone, doesn't he? But no one's getting carried away. We just want a 30-year contract for him. That's all we want. Rashford can play against Newcastle, says Dybala. He can. Anthony says, we've got our United back. It definitely feels that way, doesn't it? John on Facebook saying, I like that Ole wears a suit on a match day. Little thing to keep the manager mentality towards the players, instills discipline and respect, possibly. Ahmed says he is a Sir Alex student. Wait to see more. I definitely think this appointment had Fergie's prints all over it. Solskjaer and Mickey Phelan. I reckon Wood would probably have to Google who they was. I don't think they was on the short list of anything that he's got to his hands. So, that's what I'm thinking there with that one. Dawood says, Andres Pereira needs a chance. Well, he got a few minutes this weekend. Let's see what he's doing, because he's brought in Angel Gomez off the bench. He's bringing in Pereira off the bench. He's doing everything right. He's scoring goals. He's saying the right things. He's playing the youngsters. Let's see what it's like after we get that first big test. Nobody's getting carried away, really. After the 3 games that we've got, we all looked at them and went, they're winnable games. Now we've won them. The level of performance has been phenomenal as we've won them. But let's just keep this run going and we'll see what we get when we hit Spurs. How do I think Sanchez fits into this team? Does he come back into the mix right now? With the injury that he's had, probably not. I think he probably gets brought into it drip-fed just a little bit. But I'm excited. I think Sanchez is going to shock us. I actually think there's a chance Antonio Valencia shocks us. All it needs is that change of mentality. 2 weeks ago, all of us would have gone, drop Matic. Matic has been one of the most consistent players across these 3 games for Ole. So I would say everybody gets a clean slate now. Everybody. So let's just judge them on what they do underneath this manager, and then we can see what needs to happen with them. Herrera and Pogba, the best combo in midfield, says I Gould. Do you know what? I'm very interested to see how these would work if we do bring somebody like a Sanchez in. Can we move to a midfield 2, 4-2-3-1? Play Pogba alongside Herrera in some of the games where we're expected to dominate a little bit like this? You know, Jazz, should Rashford be rested against Reading? I think he probably does need a bit of a rest, yeah. And Dawood saying Baye will be a big miss. I like Baye. I'd love him alongside someone. Can you imagine him alongside like a Koulibaly? It'd be unfair to people, wouldn't it? We definitely still have to improve the defence. But what we're doing at the other end is fantastic at the moment, and it's in like 2 weeks. That's incredible turnaround. Tom says, obviously PSG will be difficult, but I'm excited for the challenge. I would be dreading that game if Mourinho was still here. Well, yeah, I think when I did the draw video here, I was saying it looks like it's going to be PSG that get the honour of putting United out this year. Now, if we do well against Spurs, it does give us a blueprint for how to go and play against someone like Paris and even Liverpool, because they do play quite a similar way. Anthony there saying Pereira needs more minutes, not just 5 or 7. How long did he come on for yesterday? I think it was a bit longer than that, wasn't it? But I know what you're saying. Rest Rashford, play Greenwood. The drums banging for Greenwood to play are getting louder and louder and louder, and I think he will be coming pretty soon. Now, the fan cams, there's a hell of a lot that should keep you going all the way through to the Newcastle game. But if you want to see absolute chaos like this...
If we don't beat we beat the P teams in the top 4 by parking the bus. We can't beat the small teams. Now we're beating the small teams. But for now, 1 game at a time.
With Statman Dave, then you definitely need to go and check out all the fan cams. They're all up on the YouTube channel. Go and check them out. It will keep you going right up until the Newcastle game. A lot of happy Reds, and the geezer from Purple Rain joined us as well. Not Purple Rain, Chocolate Rain. I hope Ole gets us far in the Champions League and hopefully be at that game on the 12th of Fez, says Mr. Dizzle Gaming. Happy days. Where do I think we will finish? I think we come in the top 4, and I think if it all goes swimmingly, I've still got to see what that plan B looks like against the big teams. But the plan A against the littler teams, perfect at the moment. I've got to see plan B, but I think 3rd isn't out of the question. I really don't. I think 3rd is gettable. And I think we are the 3rd best team in the country. And I think we actually show it and probably believe in that now at the moment. And that's the difference. Ole can't turn us into champions on his own. I don't think. And that's the whole point about managers don't make that much of a difference. When a manager is sacked, it's usually when they've averaged like 1 point per game. And the new manager bounce that you get isn't a bounce. It's taking the team back up to where they should be getting stuff. Ole's taking United back to where they should be getting stuff. He can't elevate us above that because the players aren't good enough. You bring us in a couple of centre-halves, or a centre-half, maybe a right-back, maybe someone to play on the right-hand side, and the way we're playing, you might see something else out of us. But Ole's just getting us back to where we should be at the moment because we've been underperforming this season. Adam is sacked, I heard. That's fake news. But yeah, if you want to see more Crazy Dave, then definitely make sure to check out all what's going on in the fan cams. Doug Pogba need a rest. He looked exhausted. I think he looked fantastic, to be honest. I don't know about exhausted. I think he was enjoying himself. Gerard says, it's annoying how everyone said it's only Cardiff, it's only Huddersfield. Yeah, no one has said anything fitting when City and Tottenham losing to teams fighting to stay up. This is what it's like being United. They've got to criticise somehow, and the way they're going to criticise us is saying it's only them. And it's, these teams have been beaten by everybody in the top 6. Yeah, everyone in the top 6 has got a perfect record against those 3 teams. But the thing is, as United fans, we're not just watching match of the day, we're watching the 90-minute performance. And if you've watched the 90-minute performance in the last 3 games, you'll know it's better than anything we've done in the last 9 months. So that's the difference. That level of performance, that level of confidence, that level of trust and freedom for the players going into those games. If we get our tactics right in the big games, who knows what will happen. Right, should we see what you lads are saying on United on YouTube? Let's take it away.
Use it. United ain't boring, and Pogba is scoring.
I can't stop smiling. It was a wonderful performance from the team. We beat Bournemouth comfortably, I must say. I'm happy for Marcus Rashford for this assist, and, well, most obviously Paul Pogba. This is the United we all want to see every single match.
3 on the bounce for Ole Gunnar Solskjaer and Manchester United, and what another fantastic performance that was from the boys in red. You know, to score 4 goals at home is fantastic to see, and the movement and the free-flowing football was just amazing. Marcus Rashford, Anthony Martial, Paul Pogba, Jesse Lingard, we were pulling them all over the place. Nemanja Matic was playing killer, fantastic forward passes, and it was just so nice to see Herrera in that midfield breaking up the play when we lost the ball. We won it back quickly, and we attacked every time we got the ball.
Everyone put in their best. The only negative of the game was Baez sending off. I think he needs to hold his breaks, but nonetheless, it was a good performance by the rest of the team.
We have scored 12 goals in 3 games. That is awesome. It's like Field of Dreams, the movie. If you build it, it'll come. And that's it. Now the players are playing with passion, they're excited, and so am I. I don't want to get too carried away because I understand the teams we are playing, but listen, we weren't beating these teams a few months ago. It was, you were worried when we played them.
And I'm loving the vibe at the club right now. The team is buzzing. We haven't gotten a clean sheet, but that's a good problem to have. Our problem was not getting wins, but now we're racking them up, and hopefully this continues.
There was no stopping us, and I thought it was fantastic. Romelu Lukaku coming off the bench, breaking his duck, getting that goal, hopefully giving that confidence, and he can become a big part of this Ole Gunnar Solskjaer system. But guys, can Ole Gunnar Solskjaer keep this position if he continues to play well, play good football, and challenge against the big teams and get us into that top 4? I can see only no other reason not to give him the permanent job if he can do those things. But
unfortunate for Eric Bailly to have a red card. I thought he had a good game, a decent game, but Marcus Rashford was on fire, Paul Pogba was on fire. Let's just keep this going. Let's just keep enjoying it. Subscribe to Full Time Devil.
Looking forward to the game. Sanchez will be back, so more attacking options for us. With Bailly's red card, we can see Jones coming in. We still have Rojo for backup.
I want the team to continue to use their attackers and to use this to move forward, build momentum, hopefully get top 4. Thanks, guys. This is Emmanuel Silva. Keep it locked here at Full Time Devils. See ya.
Don't be afraid to lose, ever. Don't.
Glory, glory, Man United. Don't forget to subscribe to Full Time Devils.
Guys, let me know what you think down in the comments. And yeah, subscribe to Full Time Devils. Come on, United.
Thanks to everybody that has sent us in a video giving us their thoughts on the game. You know how to get involved by now. I am absolutely certain of that. So can I just say, Hughes if he PM. Can we have that? If Hughes was Prime Minister, we don't have had any of this Brexit mess. Jack talking about the movement and Matic playing passes. Matic playing forward passes and some of them ridiculous passes as well. Matic definitely needs drug testing for this past 3 weeks. He looks phenomenal. I think he he's definitely not been on the Lance Armstrong juice, but we'll test him anyway, see what the crack is. And also about Lukaku coming in. Now, I've seen a lot of comments about Lukaku coming in and mentioning, does he come in? How does he come in? I think this team plays to the strengths that Lukaku's got. Although, as soon as he came on yesterday, something that we haven't seen in the pre-game in the 3 games prior to him coming on is that direct long ball from David De Gea. That needs cutting out. We cut that out and we're going to start playing the best out of him. He doesn't win those headers. He doesn't play with his back to goal. He's a guy that likes to get on the end of stuff. There was a couple of flashes of that, and obviously his goal being one of those where there was movement and he can put it away. You start getting crosses into the box for Lukaku, you're going to start to see the guy that we signed for 75 million. We need to stop playing him like Didier Drogba, and I think that the guy that's going to get the best out of him is a guy that was a striker himself in Ole Gunnar Solskjaer, and I honestly think he's going to be... I think he's going to give him a decision to make. Does he persist with Marcus Rashford, who's in great form, scoring, assisting, and for me, probably player of the month for December, for the whole of December. I think if he was just on the last 3 games, Paul Pogba has arguably been the best player in the world in the last 3 games. 7 goals from a midfielder in 3 games is unheard of. It's obscene. But I think the whole of December, Marcus Rashford's performances have been excellent. He started off with a couple of goals against Fulham, and he's had a brilliant run since then. I think he is my shout for player of the month. But the last 3 games, Paul Pogba has probably been 10 out of 10 in most of those games, just the last 3 games. So I hope the recency bias doesn't really play too much into it. The whole of the month has been Marcus Rashford's month, and I think he's not even played 90 minutes every week in that as well. So I think, does he persist with Marcus, or does Lukaku come in, start scoring the goals as well, and really give Ole a bit of a headache? Does he play one? Does he play the other? Does he play them both? It's a nice position to be in, having to juggle all of that lot with everybody playing well, isn't it? Honey Badger says, while the changing manager has helped players like Pogba, I think the effect on the other players is huge. Herrera looks like the guy from 2 seasons ago, possibly. I know that the players, it was 4 goals in 3, not 7. It's not scoring 4 goals, it's providing 4 goals. So that's 4 goals and 3 assists in 3. That's where the 7 goals comes from. Everybody's been given a lift, and I think especially the likes of Bayer and Pogba that had fell out with the manager, those guys now have got a point to prove, and they're playing with it, aren't they? Who do I think were the best centre-half that we can get that can fit straight into the squad? I like De Ligt. Now, he's 19. People are going to go, oh, he's young, he's a prospect. He's not. He's a guy that's played first-team football consecutively for 3 years, hardly missed a game. He was even helping out Van Dijk, where Van Dijk was getting into a little bit of a trouble for the Dutch team. This is a guy that's captaining Ajax as a teenager. No mean feat. He's excellent. He's gettable. I understand he's a little bit on the young side. Otherwise, Koulibaly's an excellent option. Skriniar's an excellent option. Toby Alderweireld, excellent option. There's centre-halves that tangibly improve our backline that are out there. It doesn't really matter which one. Let's just go and improve our backline. Do you think we should re-sign Memphis? We have a buyback clause. We don't have a buyback clause. And I know Jose said something about a clause in a press conference. Buyback clauses are illegal in France. There is no buyback clause. There might be some sort of first option agreement, but it's not a clause. So, and I know he's walking around wearing United shirts, and I know he's looking fantastic for Lyon at the moment, but I would be surprised. I don't know, maybe he would come back now under a different manager, someone that would give him the opportunity. But he's a left-sided kind of guy, although he's played down the middle quite a lot for Lyon. We don't need that unless one of them are going to move on. Fartbox says Alderweireld is far too old at 29. Not really. I mean, you need a leader that's ready right now. That's the guy that you get in right now. You don't need to sign all 20-year-olds all over. Otherwise, then you have a team that lacks experience and lacks knowing the right thing to do at the right time. He's a great age for us because it means it's not going to push out the likes of Tuanzebe. If you signed De Ligt and play him alongside Bayer, that's a 19 and a 24-year-old Bayer might be. That's definitely going to get in the way of hampering the likes of Tuanzebe's progression. A 29-year-old isn't. You could easily see Alderweireld, Bayer, Lindelof and Tuanzebe forming 4 centre-halves at the club. What's Full-Time Devils New Year's resolution? I don't know, what is our resolution for New Year's? To enjoy the match more than we did last year, I reckon. We get 3 years out of him. So what? That's happy days for the sort of money that's in the mix. Anyway, thank you guys for joining us. I really, really mean it. Thank you guys for joining us. It means a lot to us every time you click on that video. Even though there's thousands of people click on the videos, it doesn't matter unless you click on the video. So thank you guys for that. Make sure to give it a like, subscribe. We've got the preview coming out for Newcastle game and all the usual match day coverage that we have. So come and join us for all of that lot as we keep marching with Ole's army. Thank you guys for joining us. We'll see you in the next one.